What are the different engineering careers that you may pursue after graduation? And if you are an electrical engineer, which sector exactly you may work at in this huge power system? Hi everyone, I'm Ahmed Ramez. I'm a senior electrical design engineer and I'm making these videos to share with you the information that is not commonly shared after graduation. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you get notification when I publish every new video. First of all, as we all know, Thomas Edison, who invented the incandescent lamp, had gone through a huge war with Nikola Tesla, who has invented the alternating current. Wait. What's wrong? You have just said the biggest mistake in history. How's that? I'll tell you. Thomas Edison didn't invent the incandescent lamp. He had just developed it and piled up the inventions of 22 other men like Alessandro Volta, Humphrey Davy, Warren De La Rue, William Edward, Joseph Swan, and he got also other competitors like Henry Woodward and Matthew Evans. Okay, enough, I got it. Moving to Tesla, he didn't even invent the alternating current. Alternating current was developed in principle by Michael Faraday and in practice by the French scientist Hippolyte Pixii. Est-ce que j'ai dit la prononciation correcte? Thanks. Starting from the same point, there was a war between Edison and Tesla. It was called War of the Currents. In 1882, Pearl Street Station has been established in Manhattan in the United States, which was the first central power plant to be established there. This station consisted of steam turbines which were feeding the incandescent lamps, the thing that made a great impact in the US at that time. And a lot of people tried to purchase this new innovative product. But there was a huge drawback that the power cannot be transmitted for long distances because when the resistance increases, the voltage drops, referring to Ohm's law, which states that V equal IR and the lost power equal I squared times resistance. So as long as the distance increases, the resistance will increase and accordingly the lost power will increase. So the power plant can be away from the load except for few kilometers. If you exceed this distance, the lamp will switch off. The only solution to this problem was establishing a lot of power plants in a very small area to cover all the loads at different distances. Here came Nikola Tesla, who developed the usage of the alternating current with Westinghouse Electric Operation, which was owned by George Westinghouse. He worked on developing the alternating current by transforming it to a higher voltage so that the current will decrease and accordingly the lost power will decrease. And here's where the war started between Thomas Edison and Westinghouse and Tesla. Edison tried to prove that the high voltages are very dangerous for everyone. So unfortunately, he brought some animals and electrocuted them, and he encouraged the usage of electric chairs in the execution to be another evidence for his theory. But in 1893, in Chicago's World Fair, Westinghouse was the responsible entity of providing the lighting system of the fair. This fair was a very huge one, and a lot of leaders and politicians and businessmen from the whole world had visited this fair. And the surprise was that with one single click, 100,000 lamps had been lit by the alternating current. By this time, it was clearly evident who was the winner. But what's the relation between this story and our own career life? This story is the origin of our current power system, the electricity network that is feeding all the world. And by being an electrical engineer, so you should, by a way or another, work within this power system. Before we go on, please share with us in a comment which side are you fan of? Thomas Edison, the master of direct current, or Nikola Tesla, the master of alternating current? Going back to the relation between the story and our own career life. Nowadays, power system consists of major parts, starting by the generation phase and the transmission system and the distribution system. In every spot now in the world, there is a load that is electrified by the electric current. We will have a quick brief on the details of this power system to be able to know in which sector we can work in the future. We have two main categories for the power plants in the generation section. The first part is the thermal power plants and the second main part is the renewable energy power plant. The thermal power plants consist of the steam turbine power plants, the gas turbine power plants and the nuclear power plants. For the other category, which is the renewable energy power stations, we have the PV solar cells power stations, the wind turbines power station, we have the tidal power stations, geothermal power station, hydroelectric power stations, and solar thermal power stations. Can we take a break, please? A break? We are still in the generation phase. So, after the generation phase, we have the transmission system, which is through overhead transmission lines or underground cables. After the electric power being generated and transmitted, we will reach the loads. So we will have a distribution system. The distribution system will feed the different loads, which we can categorize them in two main categories. The first category is the residential areas and buildings, and the second category is the commercial sector. This may contain factories, shopping malls, hospitals, schools, offices, clubs, oil and gas industry, water treatment and water desalination industry, hotels, and pharmacies. Each system of the three systems that we have mentioned, the generation, transmission, and distribution, are connected to each other by substations. Keep in mind that every part of this power system has three main entities that control it. The first entity is the owner, who owns the property. The hospital has an owner, and the power plant has an owner, which is the government or a private sector. And the same for other parts of the power system and the different loads that we have mentioned. The second main entity is the contractor, the one who builds this property. And also inside this second main category is the supplier, who provides the required equipment. And we can add as well the service provider, a company which provides a service of operation and maintenance to a power plant or a school building. Its job is to maintain all the electrical equipment within the building and ensure that the existing loads are operating effectively. The third main entity is the consultant. It's the entity that helps the owner in setting the specifications or designing the property before being built by the contractor, and by setting the specifications of the products before being supplied by the supplier, and the required regulations of the service provider that should follow before being in charge of the operation and maintenance of the property. So if you will choose a sector in this power system, whether from the generation sector or the transmission sector or the distribution sector, so you have to choose to work with one of these three entities. Now we will move to the departments that are available in these sectors and entities. The following departments are the main ones. You may find the name different, but the job description will stay the same. And maybe some departments are applicable for some sectors and not applicable for others. But at the end, I tried to summarize for you all the available departments that may exist in different sectors and entities. Let's assume that I own a contracting company that aims to build a power plant. My company is EPC Contractor. EPC stands for Engineering, Procurement and Construction. This means that I have to finish the project from A to Z. So first step I will do is that I will hire business development team so that they study the market and know the segments that we will target to penetrate certain market. The business development team will bring projects that under bidding so that our tendering team works on studying them and get the offers from different suppliers that complied with the specifications and trying to get the least prices. If we are able to win the project from the other competitors for having the best technical specifications and the least price, so the project is now ours. The first step afterwards, I will hire a project manager to manage the project. This project manager will have a planning team, planning the schedule of the project starting from this moment till finishing the project completely. And also the contracts management department should be there for any conflicts that may arise between different entities throughout the project. And they will make sure that the contract is being applied effectively. And then comes the role of engineering, who will start designing the power plant and preparing documents and drawings to be sent to the owner or the consultant to be revised and approved. After receiving the approval, the procurement department will assist in procuring the required products according to the approved drawings. But before signing the purchase order, which is the contract between the contractor and the supplier with regards to a certain equipment that will be supplied to the project, the cost control team will make sure that the cost of this equipment is within the budget. After manufacturing the product by the supplier, the logistics team role will appear by arranging all the required steps to deliver deliver the product to our site. Then the material control team will be ready in the site to receive the equipment and put it in our store or lay down area. And the quality team member will be there also to check that the equipment is received in the best quality and it's complying with the technical specifications and drawings. Besides the quality assurance team, which is responsible of making the procedures and processes of all the departments, in addition to carrying out audits on the departments and all the works related to the company. After receiving the equipment in the site, the construction phase will start by installing this equipment according to the drawings, and before that the required foundations and raceways will be constructed by the construction team. Then the testing and commissioning department will start testing the equipment after the construction to make sure that the operation of the equipment is totally complying with the requirements. Our HSE team, or our health, safety and environment department, will be there to ensure that all these activities are being carried out safely. If the project has finished, you may find the maintenance and operation team being hired by the owner so that they maintain the power plant and ensure that it's operating in a correct way. You will also find the facilities management, who is responsible of the mobilization, or in other words, the buildings that the contractor are sitting in. Besides the supportive departments like legal department, information technology department, human resources and internal marketing department. Haven't we finished yet? No, we have finished. Here we come to the end of our video. And congratulations! You have got now the guidelines for choosing your career in the electrical engineering field. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and join my community on LinkedIn platform and other platforms. Thank you so much, my friends. See you in the next video.